COVID infections are steeply rising in China. Other countries are walking down the cautious path, from the US to Canada to France. Restrictions have been placed in for Chinese travellers, and now, of course, after 3 years of extreme COVID measures in its own country, China is now calling for other countries to have scientific prevention measures in place. China has been a case of extreme measures, from imposing the strictest lockdown to now lifting almost all of the restrictions that were in place. Rising infections have overwhelmed hospitals and crematoriums, but that has not deterred China to push for a reopening. China ended the mandatory quarantine on arrival last week. Such a move prompted many Chinese residents to plan trips abroad. As a result, countries across the world put in travel regulations for Chinese travellers. The US has applied restrictions for travellers from China, Hong Kong and Macau. The EU, the UK, Australia and Japan have also initiated similar norms for passengers arriving from China, but Beijing has called out the international restrictions as unacceptable.
We are willing to strengthen communication with the international community and work hard together to overcome the epidemic. In the meantime, we believe that some countries have taken entry restrictions targeting China. This lacks scientific basis and some practices are unacceptable. We firmly oppose any attempts to manipulate epidemic prevention measures in order to achieve political goals. We will take countermeasures based on the principle of reciprocity.
Now the question arises that can countries be actually blamed for protecting their own citizens? If the cases do rise in other countries, who will take the onus for that? More importantly, can China say that such measures lack scientific basis when visuals of Chinese crematoriums overflowing with bodies show a different reality? The United States has questioned China's lack of transparency around infection data. Washington cited risks of new variants as a reason to restrict travellers. China has sharply narrowed its criteria for classifying COVID-related deaths, which means whatever data comes out of China, if it does, will not reflect the reality on ground. Now, I leave you with a question. When the risk is high and future is uncertain, can countries put their guards down at this moment? WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.